Thank you. You may be seated. All right, your next question. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Spiegel, before we took the break, you were talking about the correlation between domestic abuse, heavy alcohol abuse, and cognitive disorders. Does the literature support your...
There are two plagues. This is very serious stuff we're playing with. And when you are just getting someone closer and closer to the threshold...
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
This is highly relevant, Your Honor.
I'll overrule as to relevance.
Beyond the scope.
Go ahead.
Beyond the scope of the question?
Yes.
All right, I'll sustain that objection.
All right. Tell me more about the relationships between substance abuse and IPV, please.
Yeah, so again...
Objection, Your Honor.
What's the objection?
That's not record evidence.
Yes.
This court case
There's-
we're going through, right?
There's an objection, sir.
The court did not require Mr. Depp to...
No, and the court did not require Mr. Depp to undergo this evaluation.
Okay. Dr. Spiegel, these opinions that you have offered here, do you hold them to within a reasonable degree of medical and psychiatric probability or certainty?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, cross-examination.
I'm Wayne Dennison. We haven't met. But let me ask you, let's start with what you finished with.
I'm sorry, one more time?
Let's start with what you finished with.
Yeah, I'm 59. That sounds about right.
Yeah. And it's better.
Association that I'm a member of, yes.
Yeah. Aren't you a fellow or something?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
It is an ethical rule, and yes, it's ethical. They say rules. It's an ethical guideline. Yes, they're guidelines.
Mm-hmm. And it is unethical for a psychiatrist to offer a professional opinion about an individual based on publicly available information without conducting an examination. That's the rule, right?
If you're reading it directly, I will believe you.
Okay.
And I would come back to, again, then this whole thing on expert, we might as well get rid of all the expert witnesses we've had throughout all of time. You are, sir. No, you are.
Well, give me a second, and I'll give you more than a second.
And I think we're going in circles because
Professional opinions you rendered were inconsistent with the Goldwater rule.
Yeah, my first position
That you've rendered today.
it is a requirement of the APA. It is not the requirement of the APA. Secondarily,
So the answer is no?
Secondarily, act that the APA clearly says we should not do. So if you're saying that, then the answer is yes, I'm agreeing with that statement.
You're agreeing that the APA would deem your testimony and your professional opinions rendered unethical. But the rule says it is unethical for a psychiatrist to offer a professional opinion about an individual. That's right, sir. It's not just presidents, it's not public figures, it's
Tell me where you want me to end this.
Well,
Sir.
why don't we talk about what you just testified to, because I didn't ask you anything about that. I asked you whether under this rubric, under this principle of medical ethics, have you acted unethically? Yes or no?
You, sir, would like to proceed that expert witnesses are unethical. Based on that, I am not going to sit here and disagree with you and waste everyone's time. I think it's fairly obvious. So thank you. Go ahead. These were your words. I'm just saying them back how they're interpreted.
Okay. Let's start with the easy question then. Maybe we can...
That was pretty easy. Go ahead.
All right, Doctor, you're going to have to just answer the questions.
Okay. Sorry about that. getting into it.
You need to just answer the question,
Okay.
Dr. Spiegel.
You are not rendering any diagnosis whatsoever of Mr. Depp today or ever.
I would certainly, if I didn't, I'm certainly thinking that, but at least I'm going to say he has traits which are characteristics of provisional diagnosis of, it's a provisional diagnosis.
Find that diagnosis, 5 of the 9 factors. And you haven't done that analysis. You've never made that diagnosis. You've just identified certain factors. You're just identifying traits, correct?
Sir, you're not allowing me to answer. You're splitting hairs. You're splitting hairs between the traits that are consistent with, which all I'm...
Let's go back again, and maybe we can focus on the question I ask you.
I'm not sure, the thing I don't understand is, I'm not sure why we're arguing psychiatry, because I'm telling you what it is.
Dr. Siegel, you just need to answer the questions.
Okay. One diagnosis of, Miss Heard was diagnosed with that.
Yeah, and both of the diagnoses are in cluster B, and both of them are risk factors for IPV.
But both those cluster B things are, I'm not allowed to comment on the testing, so therefore, all I can say is that cluster B traits, and I'll tell you what they are, and by the way, I testified this before, which was that, 1, I don't expect perfection from my victims. 2, absolutely there were cluster B traits Ms. Heard had. Absolutely, Ms. Heard had.
Given that you've testified to it before, let's move on to a new question.
Okay.
All right? Opinion today that you thought, well, why don't we move a little differently? Are you a member of the American Medical Association?
No.
Okay, so you don't know what the ethical rule of the American Medical Association is relative to doing clinical diagnoses about individuals you've never talked to.
You're saying the AMA's ruling under the rubric of...
Talking about, do you know the rule?
I'm not a member of the AMA, so I don't read the rubric.
We can move on. You don't know the rule.
Huh?
All right.
Baseline for processing speed?
Yeah, for analyzing Mr. Depp before you watched his deposition.
What is the baseline for that?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess my baseline would probably be how I've seen him interact in public. How I've seen him interact with others. I've seen him interact in media. I've seen him interact and his process speed is certainly not slow. I've seen him do commercials. His process speed was not slow.
A deposition, didn't you say that what you did was compare Mr. Depp's performance in lots of pirate movies against his deposition testimony here?
What I said was I've seen Mr. Depp do apology ads. I remember he did an apology ad with Bad Dog with no delay in process speed. I've seen him interact with the media regarding to that.
You compared pirates to the depositions given in this case.
Then I apologize for what I said. Then I misspoke.
You misspoke? You didn't make the comparison?
Right now, just a second ago? Just a second ago, I may have said that I misspoke. I apologize, I misspoke.
Okay.
But but as an aside, you can judge someone's processing speed at any time. Like I'm judging yours right now, you're judging mine. We all judge processing speed as a baseline because of what we know about each other. And I would say your processing speed right now is not slow. So, I mean, we're judging processing speed. I'm just saying to you.
Yeah. But no, any of Mr. Depp's other portrayals in movies, did that affect your analysis of but Willy Wonka doesn't matter to you? You see him in that movie, Charlie and Chocolate Factory? Did you look at that one when you were comparing his processing speed?
Do I have to answer that question, Your Honor?
You have to answer questions. Yes, sir.
No, you'll be happy to know I didn't see Willy Wonka I didn't see 21 Jump Street when it happened, or whatever it was about. No, I did not.
All right. You'll You made a very kind admission, I think, early on in your deposition, that you're not claiming to be a better actor than Mr. Depp. That's correct, isn't it?
100%.